A number of Republicans on the ballot today have questioned or denied the legitimacy of the 2020 election. We're talking about some 200 on the ballot today. And ABC Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl is here now. And John, they're not just on the ballot. Many of them are expected to win today.
This is really something. Donald Trump's lie about 2020 has firmly taken hold among his supporters in the Republican Party. In fact, more than 1/3 of all Republicans on the ballot today for major state and federal offices have fully denied the results of the 2020 election.
In many races across the country, the 2020 election is still on the ballot. Of the 552 Republican candidates running for Congress or statewide office this year, 199 have fully denied the legitimacy of the 2020 election. Another 61 have raised doubts about the results despite its certification in state after state. Kari Lake, the Republican candidate for governor in Arizona, is the most high-profile election denier on the ballot. She told me Arizona's election in 2020 was riddled with fraud.
The Republicans on the Board of Supervisors, the Republican governor, the Republican Attorney General under Donald Trump, Bill Barr, all said that the election was not stolen.
Are we going to sit and litigate this?
No,
I'm
just wondering why they would all lie.
You guys are obsessed. Well, we have a lot of corruption in this system.
Again, there has been no evidence of widespread fraud in Arizona or in any state in 2020. A few candidates who got Donald Trump's endorsement by repeating his lie about 2020 later backtracked after winning the Republican nomination. New Hampshire Senate candidate Don Bolduc, for example, said this during the primary.
I signed a letter with 120 other generals and admirals saying that Trump won the election, and damn it, I stand by my election.
After Bolduc won the nomination, he acknowledged Biden had won.
I have come to the conclusion, and I want to be definitive on this. The election was not stolen.
Most election deniers, however, are sticking to their guns and vowing to change the way elections are run in their states.
So why does it matter? Well, consider this. When Donald Trump tried to overturn the 2020 election by putting pressure on local officials, it was Republicans in states like Georgia, Arizona, and Michigan who refused to go along. Now, some of those officials may be replaced by candidates who say they would have done exactly what Donald Trump demanded and may do so in the next presidential election if they win office now. So this actually matters. It's not just about telling the truth. It's about how our elections are run.
No question about that. Let's add Dan Abrams right now to all this. And Dan, we're already seeing Republicans filing lawsuits to disqualify early mail-in ballots on technical grounds, Democrats filing countersuits to keep them in play.
Right, and that's not particularly surprising, meaning before every modern-day election, there are fights about the rules. How should the rules be applied? What is actually considered a valid vote? That's not a new issue to this election. What's become a little new is the way that mail-in and absentee ballots have become the primary battleground, with Democrats saying allow more of the votes to count and Republicans saying let's adhere more strictly to the precise rule of law. For example, where a date belongs on the outside of an envelope and questions like that.
And as John was pointing out, though, what really matters is what happens if many of these election deniers are put in positions of overseeing the next election.
Right. So we need to completely separate that from legal fights in court, right? A fight in a court of law is basically saying what should be the rules that apply. Election deniers are saying the rules that were decided don't necessarily apply to me. I mean, that's a fundamentally different issue than saying we believe that this vote should count or that vote shouldn't count, et cetera. You know, whatever you think of the court's rulings, it's a court ruling. That's very different from saying I don't think that necessarily whatever the result is should necessarily apply to me. Fundamentally different issue.
And John, the election denier in chief teased a big announcement last night.
He did. He said he's got a big announcement coming on November 15th about a presidential campaign. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
John Karl, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.